This is a call to the nation. One by one, let's do it together. Let's be the change we want to see. Standing strong through any weather. Follow the light of the PEP. Cause we could build a better place for every creed and every race. Together we could triumph over anything we face. So one by one, two by two, the PEP, we're here for you. Bit by bit, one people under one flag. So come on, let me fix it, we go fix it. Build a better TNT.
And we're live, and tonight we are live on, well, we are live on multiples of streams, but we are live on 2 feeds, which will sound a little bit confusing to you. But what we're doing is a complete system test to measure where to put our media resources as we go forward from here. As you would be aware, the Progressive Empowerment Party is not exactly the traditional media's darling. So we don't get the benefits that the other parties get. And we have to generate our own media. The fact that we are such a juggernaut in the politics is a testimony to social media, but it's also a testimony to the hard work of our team using social media to make this impact on the politics of Trinidad and Tobago. People tell me, like today, we're dealing with an issue for somebody, and people telling me that, Phil, you should really help everybody, but don't tell anybody. And I want to say to that person, I want to answer some of those questions here. If David Abdullah or Gary Griffith bust a pimple on their face, it's news. If David Abdullah or Gary Griffith have an ingrown toenail, they gain about 15 column inches. We get nothing. We could walk on water. The media will cover issues that have to do with us, and ministers responding to issues that have to do with us, and not contact us. You see, to the drug trafficking, cocaine, money laundering, lodge boy, secret society, bullshit artist that pulls the strings in this country and manipulates what passes for traditional media. The Progressive Empowerment Party and Phillip Edward Alexander at its helm is the biggest threat to their hegemony. And they've worked very hard to keep the people of Trinidad and Tobago dumbed down and undereducated. They've made sure that things like the education system don't work, so that in a quick 5 years, the people of Trinidad and Tobago were so undercapable of realizing what is done daily and the crap that the media gives them to hold. And everything we do, the thinking process behind it, the work behind it, all of it is for the public. The Progressive Empowerment Party has been working for years, almost decades, to inform, educate, and empower. I heard another political party say that. I'm hearing other political parties talking about fixing it. And I know that they're all intellectually bankrupt. And they're all scared to death that you might wake up and realize that you're not African first. That in a country where we're talking about governance and politics, you're Trinbagonian first. That you're not Indian first. That in a country where we're talking about governance and politics, you're Trinbagonian first. My ancestors, I related to a fellow named Richard Azar. Richard liked to do everything that he could do to telegraph to the world that he's rich. He want the highest wall and the biggest garden, and he want to renovate the house for 5 years. And I don't blame him. Knowing where we come from, Richard's father and my grandmother was brother and sister. And knowing where our great grandparents come from, because the Arabs in Trinidad and Tobago, just like every other race, came here under extreme circumstances. They were running from poverty or they were running from the law. We weren't. You don't leave a country where you're living well to go to a backwater in the Caribbean 100 years ago that nobody know. In fact, a lot of the Syrians, and I'm telling you all this, a lot of the Syrians that ended up in Trinidad and Tobago weren't trying to come to Trinidad and Tobago. But the ship captains did them a wickedness and docked in Port of Spain and told them this was America, and they gave the boat and spent their lives in Trinidad thinking they was in America. We are not descendants of wealthy people. In Trinidad, we could pretend to be white boys and white girls, and we could pretend to be people of class and culture, and we could go and get crystal glasses. But how they used to refer to us in Syria and Lebanon wasn't with in high tones. The countries we came from were war-torn. We were the beaten residents from Syria. Our ancestors were the zealots and powder magazine. Worse, powder magazine is a step up to what Richard Azar, Anthony Sabga, and my family escaped from in Syria. And I want to be clear about that. Nobody in Trinidad and Tobago came here because even the white people that came here to run estates, they were trying hard to get recognized and get into society. You have to understand, it's not now Trinidad's a shithole. Trinidad never had a glorious present. We always had a promising future and a dubious past, but we've never had a glorious present. Nobody in the world ever found themselves saying, you know what, I think I'll pick my family up and migrate to Trinidad and Tobago. Nobody. Nobody, not the Hammersmiths, not the Thompsons, nobody. No matter what you get, the Ferreras, the Herreras, none of the Rodriguezes, nobody. So when you see people in this country trying to carry themselves like they higher than other people because they have some money, scratch the surface and you'll realize 2 generations ago, they didn't own a house. They were sleeping on the people's porch. And I want to keep all of that in perspective. I tell Trinidadians and Tobagonians, listen, all of we, as Brother Marvin said, a brotherhood of the boat. We come here looking for betterment. And the only reason we didn't get national betterment, some of us get little money. We could far through sell, but we had to put guards and we have to put cameras in the park across the road to watch we own house. First we scared. First we shitting we pants in the night. That for the money we have, we scared shit less. We family can't live in the same country with us because we scared shit less. We making all extra money, but time's drifting away like sands in the hourglass. As I remind people, I sit down in Anthony Sabga funeral and I watch everybody who come to pay their respects in the same box. All of we going in for the same cockroach and worm to eat. He gone. Everybody. All of we, Agostini and Mute and all of them going there too. Christian Mute just walk around town like he just shit ice cream. Well, one day rats and roaches will be all in the mouth and the ears and the eyeball socket. All of these people who don't understand that when God blesses you and gives you something that you could use for the benefit of everybody, and you turn around and just fatten yourself and your family, hope they don't have a God. For all my benefits, my father taught me, to whom much is given, much is expected. My family, my personal family, has created some world-renowned people now. And the things that still unite us all is that we all try so very hard to give back. Because that's how we were raised. Give back. To whom much is given, much is expected. Bloom where you're planted and stuff like that. So, and I want to talk about this and touch on this because you see, the only reason the politics don't work in the country is because we think we're better than each other. Or we think that we're worse than each other. I feel sorry for some black people in this country. I watched this little black boy handcuffed on the Look the Bandit page. And they're telling him all kind of shit. And all I said was PNM should be ashamed that this is what this little fella's life's choices are. You see, to plenty people, You want to piss in his face and pretend that he's stupid and he chose this. 500 people that ends up murdered every year for being in gangs, trying to make a life, trying to get something for themselves. We pretend that they choose that over options. People come and post on the thread and say, you know, we all have the same choices. I said, that's a great lie. We don't. We don't have the same choices. We don't have the same opportunities. Right now, we need a commission of inquiry into the education system to find out why the prestige schools have a different curriculum and using different books to the also ran schools. Trinidad has been deliberately set up to fail by some deviant people who have held public office, and they've only held public office because they have you walking around stupid telling yourself you're an Indian. So if somebody gonna rape you in your head, it better be an Indian. And it can't be so. You can't be stupid so, and we can't be stupid so for the next 60 years. The world laughing at us. They've left us behind. You all don't realize Haiti leaving us behind. You all don't realize Rwanda and Colombia gone forward from Trinidad and Tobago. You don't realize the only country left on the bottom of the shit pit is Trinidad and Tobago. And as Dumas said today to Farley and Watson Duke, you all were the last best hope for Tobago. You're looking like two idiots, two little children. My partner Phelps tell me they have plenty people in this society that end up in spaces they never thought they would be. So they don't know how to dress for the part. They don't know how to behave. They don't know which fork is for the salad. That is what Watson Duke and Farley Augustine is. That is what the two of them are. They don't know which fork is for the salad. They play and dress up. Two jackass. That is just an accelerated version of Basdio, Pandey, and Robbie. And Gary Griffith want to come and give you that same bullshit with the NTA. I watched the NTA meeting, and all I see in the chairs is former employees of Gary Griffith and the Congress and the People B team that's still floating free looking for somebody to hug them up and give them some love. Who spoke on our platform have any knowledge of anything to give you any hope that there is something coming from there? And I told Gary that Peter George is going to ride your back like a horse. But it's not the first time Peter trying this. Peter George Jr. want to be a kingmaker long time. He tried with Pat, he tried with David Fraser, he tried with Mahara, he tried with all these people. Every single thing that, every maxi that stop and open my door and let him take a ride, he tried with them. Gary Griffith is just his latest attempt to try and get something in office so he could be a kingmaker too. But the Congress and the People failed. It's over. They have no bringing that back. What Trinidad needs, and the only thing Trinidad needs right now, is real representation that will come down on the ground and deal with the issues. And not one single person in that whole NTA meeting, not even Errol Fabian, could do that. Not one. And now that the PDP and Tobago have self-destructed and the NTA has shown their cards, because all they build is a bridge for the Congress and the People members to come on board. But who else? B team players, C team players. And I told Gary on the phone, we had a lengthy conversation, because every time I talk about the NTA, Gary's telling me, well, boy, time for we to go our separate ways. We going our separate ways from the moment you link up with Peter George Jr., brother. You think as an ass, you really think I feel that they have a future for Phillip and Gary in any kind of politics, as long as they have jokers like Peter George Jr. behind Gary and the NTA? I know that I am the biggest fear to them, because Philip Edward Alexander will ask questions that people can't answer, questions about sources of people's wealth, because I know where we, the Arab sand niggers, that's what they used to call us, you know. They used to call us sand niggers, you know that? My ancestors, sand niggers. That's what they used to call us. Ask Azar. Ask Anthony Sabga, who dead, may he rest in peace. Sand niggers, they used to call us. So I know those who trying to pretend that all of a sudden it skip a generation and they're eating on the Queen's table don't want me asking questions of people who boast that they open 128 business in 10 years and can't explain to the world how you get financing to build a store a month. I'm still waiting for an answer to that question. I am upset. My silence on social media is of that upset. I'll tell you why. We did a lot of work opening a space for somebody like Gary. And now Gary and I have to go our separate ways to the point where he and I are political enemies. I hear this bullshit people tell me that the PNM is the enemy, the PNM is the enemy. Miss me with your bullshit. The UNC is my enemy too. The United National Congress is owned and operated by the same criminal construct. And ask Ganga Singh and John Jeremy about D. Salcott and how glad everybody was that Hafiz Karama dead. Where is that? Where is the results of that inquiry into D. Salcott? Pandey talk about it. He said the news, they write a question, write a statement about Pandey say Jeremy and Ganga Singh and ask them questions. Pandey and the Piako Airport. Pandey and the Piako Airport. All of the co-conspirators went to jail. They confessed to the crime. It's not like if we don't know that they stole $1.5 billion. We know they stole $1.5 billion at Piako Airport. What Kamala and Basdio Pandey can't do yet is say, okay, members of the UNC robbed the country blind. They thief all you to the wastewater treatment plant and beat them. That was $1 billion you didn't have to lose. They have nothing there. That they have that the thief you blind with Piako, that they thief you blind with Caroni rum stocks, that they thief you blind with the bandwidth, that they thief you blind with D. Salcott and those deals for D. Salcott. Trinidad needs to know. Trinidad needs to know there can't be no link up with the UNC. None. And the NTA is a bridge to all them shit snake B-team players, wannabe politicians to link up with the UNC like our next People's Partnership. Wasting friggin' time because there's the same deep pocket 1% financiers that going to make all the money because none of them mashing them toes. None of them writing laws to make sure that if you're swimming in coconut water outside Bayside, you could end up on your belly. But if you're swimming in Sabga Pool in Bayside, you ain't breaking the law during a lockdown. And that's the problem people like Peter George will have with me. And I am cool with that because I feel like a good and decent person when people of that ilk have a problem with me. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and it's on us, you know. It's on us. And I tell you something. They will tell you all the time, Phil, boy, your political career will end if you don't link up with this one and link up with that one. I didn't come to this for a career. I come to this to try to rescue my country. That's the mission. Aaron, I don't know what. And that's why I want to be able to talk as plain as I'm talking. They have nothing for me, no link up of any kind with any Watson Duke, with any Gary Griffith, with any NTA, with any PDP, with any UNC. You hear how clear saying that? We don't have a bridge for recycled politicians. We're not in that. That is not us. The Progressive Empowerment Party met with the Congress of the People, hear me, 7 times. And every time we told them the same thing. We have no use for the Congress of the People. But people like Kurt Sinnott, who is the last leader, I mean, every time I think the last leader stand up on the ship that's sinking, because Carolyn C. Prasad Bechan was up to her knees, Kurt up to his neck. The Congress of the People dead. It dead. It dead. It dead. It's now an all-fours line at best. It's a place where little pink-skinned people could pretend that they have a political voice. And you have to give them that because they're nothing else. No problem, but don't pretend they're politically viable because they're not. And the reason they're not is because they think they're separate. And that's the problem. You shouldn't need bridges. You should need doors. The Progressive Empowerment Party's symbol from the start has been an umbrella with people under the umbrella. One people under one flag has been our slogan. We fought for one thing from the very start. All of us together fighting the contract mafia. That was our whole mission. Black, white, red, green, and every shade in between. But I am no longer prepared to let my friendship with Gary Griffith, and my respect for Gary, we admit, I owe him, he owe me. We know each other forever. But there can be no play in this game where all are we focused on killing the PNM and then best man win. To ask for that, everybody who is on this political playfield right now is my enemy. The objective is to win the election convincingly so as to manage the country properly, nothing else. No recycled politicians, no promises to political investors, no speculators. The Progressive Empowerment Party is launching shadow MPs, constituency managers on the ground. You see, the UNC tell you that, well, we're not in office, so we can't do nothing. No problem. Don't do nothing. The Progressive Empowerment Party will fix it. We will go Chatham. We will go Matlock. We will go Maruga. We will go Beatam. The Progressive Empowerment Party will go up in Fitzgerald Hines' nose hole and find the coquille broom and weed it out for him. We're going home in wherever they think is their political home. We're going there. We're going to put 41 proper constituency managers on the ground. You know what these people taking this role for? These constituency managers taking this role to hopefully get screened as a candidate. And the only thing that will give them to be screened as your candidate is if you tell us, this man that you all put here for the past year, 2 years, we want this man to represent us. We're not looking for no Brian Lara and Dwight York and Ian Allen and what was this next clown who ended up on CNC3 in the morning? All of them, they have him out in the road now finding pothole. Because Phillip get massive followings for pothole, so they send he outside JW. He now looking for pothole too. I mean, they're so opaque and transparent with their lack of any understanding that by the time they do what I do yesterday, we don't shift in gears. We don't shift in gears. We coming to you who can't get your NIS money, and we explaining to you where NIS money gone. It is we who expose the disco financing in Siam and Apsara and Tamnatai. It's we push that up in the face till they close it down, but you lost your $40 million. Taxpayers lost that money. But it's we that push that into the public space. It is we that exposes all of it. You who can't get your pension, you who can't get paid, you who be made an ass. The government sending on a rigmarole of forms and documents trying to make you an ass. I'm telling you, well, you know, the Indians would make it worse. And you're going home with that shit to tell yourself, you know what? It's time for people to say, my politics is not black. And my politics is not Indian. And my politics is not Syrian. And my politics is not Chinese. My politics is not Caucasian. My politics is Trinbagonian. And if you get to that place, between now and when the next election is called, there will be a Progressive Empowerment Party that I lead. And if you give us the chance to run the country, we will purge it of the criminal co-conspirators like the banksters who are committing fraud by the minute. There's a man who came to me, he blind now, he could barely see. They take in the house. People vexed because I said the man had a $5 million house. But they realized the man had a senior job in Petrotrin and he was working for his money. So don't vex for the man that he could afford a $5 million house, because if you could have afforded a $5 million house, you'd have do it too. But the bank wanted to take this half-blind man house for $220,000. And what these people who talking don't understand is, if you only owe $220,000 on a $5 million house, that means you don't pay back nearly $10 million for a $5 million house already. The banks just get away with murder in this country. What is being done to the people of Trinidad and Tobago by banks and unregulated finance sector, insurance companies, general insurance, life insurance? What is being done to our people by these companies that just have to put aside $50,000 to settle if they wind up when the heat get too high? When they shut down, where we do? And Faris tell them the cocaine that was sent to Norfolk, Virginia, is a ghost in it. And a ghost was to receive it. What we gonna do? We buy this shit all the time. We buy this shit all the time. It's why all they hear me talk about Wildflower Park And all they're so confused, all they don't know that whole park is yours. Everything about it is yours. The street in front of that Azar don't want to drive on, that is your street. And all you have to do, I swear to you, fire this PNM and UNC, put me in government, and I'll make everything around his house commercial. I'll make him fat. I promise you. I hate this. I hate that kind of behavior. I'll put dance hall around him. Yeah? You want to put white line in the road? You want to put up sign? I'm going to show you a sign. People mustn't abuse their power to the disadvantage of others. When you have power, your mission, Bob Marley say, when you on top, your job is to reach down and lift others up, not push people down. That is little dick behavior. That's for men with small penises who need to impress their wives with things other than what's swinging between their legs. This country is run by a bunch of shitty little men, the Oompa Loompas of Rohan Sinanan and Colm Imbert, that's spending $500 million on a flyover to the same Azar Mall, the 1% tanty shortcut, that grannies and grandpas and the same public servants can't get an increase. They can't get the adjustment. They can't get a back pay. But you will find money to spend $500 million on the 1% tanty shortcut to West Mall. Oh, you're heartless and criminal. And it is time the people of Trinidad and Tobago took to their senses and stood up. And I'll tell you this. I went to a drugstore today. And I realized that every time I go into a place like a drugstore, when I go into the drugstore, all the cashiers in the front, black. And all the pharmacists in the back, Indian. And all the cashiers in the front love Mr. Phillip. Mr. Phillip, I can't wait to vote for you. Love what you're saying. I follow you every video. All the black cashiers in front love Mr. Phillip. And the Indian pharmacy operators in the back gush when they see me. So I want you to understand, we are the bridge. I am the bridge. This half-breed, I have built that bridge. We've been a bridge since we started. We have been a bridge that rescues the people from the 1% criminal conspiracy of the contract mafia. That's who we are. That's the only thing this country ever needed. The country don't need an next Winston Dukaran. The country don't need it. Congress of the people failed you. You want it again with a new name? It failed you. Be honest. What did we get from the Congress of the people? Any of their promises? They were instrumental in putting the People's Partnership in office. And when Jack Warner get to act as Prime Minister instead of Dukaran threw a tantrum for 5 years. We don't need that. And I'm sorry. Because I still think Gary have a part to play in the politics. But not the way he going. Not that way at all. And all of the free paper we give each other since your launch, consider that closed. Send your people for me, because I ride in for your people. I have scores to settle with some of them. I want to call out Tim Timal, who trying to fool people and pretend that all of a sudden he is this good and decent politician when he started off in politics as a purveyor of porn and filth, but ended up as the social media manager for the Commissioner of Police. For some reason, that's how it went. Now he's a coordinator. Now he's a coordinator in the National Transport, whatever they stand for. And I want to say this, and I want Gary to hear me. We don't want no easement. You don't know WhatsApp or text me. Right. From today, everything on the playfield we consider. Because enough time has passed. And people have been asking, Phillip, you cut so much road for that man. You defend him through so much shit. None of these people could have defended him like you defend him. Through so much shit. It's only you had the brass balls to stand up and say, when Rowley was trying to appoint him as Commissioner of Police, is only you had the balls to say, but Rowley, you accuse this man of murder. You accuse this man of conspiring to murder. And you're coming to appoint him without apologizing to him. This could never end well. So said, so done. Like Watson, Duke, and Farley Augustine. Farley Augustine wasn't getting into any office without Duke. But Duke had to hide from the media for Farley to get elected. That whole PDP has been a confidence trick from the start. It was always about Watson Duke getting his hands on something that he could negotiate with the UNC. And that's the game. Ramona Ramdial could tell you, Boti Wari could tell you, Vasan Bharat could tell you, Devan Maharaj could tell you, even Tim Gopi Singh could tell you. Everybody trying to negotiate the Indian vote. And I want to ask the Indian people, why are you selling all your votes so cheap? Why are you getting nothing in return? And I know when Indian people tell me under camera things was better. Yeah, for you. For you. Not for black people. Lavantil Beaton, Morvan Silots didn't improve under Kamala. Color me orange and life sport be damned. So don't pretend it was good for the whole country. So all you come on Facebook to say under Kamala things was nice. It was shit for everybody else. But worse, it was only nice for you because when the Africans in power, it was shit for you. So when Indian come in power, all of a sudden you start to see things that you never see before. So you thought that Kamala changed the world. Kamala didn't change the world. Kamala changed life for Indian people, like Pandey changed life for Indian people. And Rowley going back into power to put 6 Heliconia Foundation teenagers to be the only screeners for 12 and under on TTT. As if the country have no other races. Diversity be damned. PNM and UNC controls the politics of Trinidad and Tobago. So under that reality, we must separate and click. The Syrians must pull aside. The Chinese and the whites must pull aside. And the Africans and the Indians must continue to fight. So the Syrians, the whites, and the Chinese will funnel money into both sides. And whoever gets in power, while the other side losing, the Syrians, the whites, and the Chinese don't. You understand that, UNC? You understand that? So when you're outside here talking about things get better because you get a box drain and you get a light, a street light. Understand? That's what you were entitled to all along. But the UNC didn't have the strength to represent you on the ground. But the Progressive Empowerment Party can. And it is 500,000 of you voted. Don't waste that vote this time. This time, let's use the power of our collective vote to create a vision of a nation that Trinidad could still be. Recall all them diplomatic appointees, fire all, Orville London and the crew, all, fire all. Some look better than others and sound intelligent more than the others because the others are so bad. The others are so bad that some people get to pick low-hanging fruit when they get into office and boast about those low-hanging fruits as successes, when what they really did was just do the actual basic medium job they were supposed to do. The baseline of the job is what you got. Nothing new, nothing different, nothing changed. We still have the same contract mafia. We still have the same double standard shitty education system that fails 10,000 little colored children a year. We still have the same crappy health system where people go to die ignoble deaths. We still have shitty roads. One mash up the road, one sell the pitch rake. All they're fighting over who worse? Both worse. That's the truth. PNM and UNC didn't change anything. Junior Sammy Calco make the same money under PNM they make under UNC to give us the same shit roads. The Americans built roads in this country 80 years ago that's still going strong. Junior Sammy and Calco building roads that don't last 5 years. Now they're putting down pitch. They say don't have bitumen or you don't have this, you don't have that. In Rowley constituency, they have a road that drives from 4 roads to St. Finbar's Church, then to Westmoreland. That road drives between Victoria Gardens, Goodwood Park, North Westmoreland, and Southwest Morris, and that road is now Abortion Alley. If you think you might be pregnant, don't drive on that road. Because it's like driving on a bumpy grater. You can throw away the child before you reach traffic line. And that's Keith Rowley constituency. So if the Prime Minister have the power and the authority to make sure Oompa Loompa number one, Rohanson and Ann, could pave a proper road, then God help us. God help us, the people of Trinidad and Tobago. God help us. If we continue to accept this mediocrity, if we continue to accept this incompetence and foolishness and justify it because you black and they Indian, and who thief less and who thief more, if the same failing justice system, you know they have people that are in jail, convicted of nothing, since Manning, Pandey, Kamala, and Rowley was prime ministers of this country. And if nothing else is a reason to tell yourself that your children and your dark-skinned relatives, because I'm telling you, none of them inside of their white. All of them that waiting for a case that can't afford a lawyer and can't afford bail. Check it. Ask for the list. And that the state had a responsibility. And you don't need to go and write an Indictable Proceedings Act and write a Section 34 in that Indictable Proceedings Act and come in the parliament and twist your navel string and pull we heartstring and tell me all the black children that in jail with the president. Miss me with your bullshit. The Commissioner of Police could drop charges. The DPP could vacate all charges. The Chief Justice could sentence everybody to time served, and the President of the Republic could pardon everybody. Those are 4 office holders that have the power to change that for those people trapped in a human rights crisis. But the problem is, they're black in a country where black lives don't matter. And to the Heliconia Foundation, them little people who getting their little kakata, the little N, the little piece in a regional corporation, or the little post link up somewhere, Diane Gatsby Dolly, never in her wildest dreams, thought she could dress up and talk in big people company. So them can't speak out, especially when they know that the inner circle around Keith Rowley, everybody here straight and skin light. It's only Fitzgerald Hines. They just say he part of that, and when they go out, they make him sit down outside and watch the car. Don't know what interfere with the car, Fitzy. You sit down outside there, we'll send a burger for you. This is our country, not shame. The President of the Republic tell them you should be ashamed of yourselves. No, Madam President, no. No, you wake up. I'm not forgiving the Archbishop. He grew up in the same country with me. He knows how hard it was when he was driving that little yellow Ford Laser and donate the little blue Corolla to Living Waters. He know how hard life is in this country, and as a member of Living Water community dealing with the poor people and the vagrants and the homeless, he know how hard life is in the country. To go and defend these political jagabats and tell us don't talk about it, he should have been the one out in the street ringing the freaking bell. No, Jason Gordon, I'm not forgiving you. And I'm telling you, I know he has been my mother house and my sister, God rest her peace, her children, swear by you. But you and me, we good, brother. Because you had a responsibility to do better. And you break my heart because I thought when you were appointed Archbishop, finally we were getting good pieces on the board. You let me down. And Madam President, the last time a president got me interested in something he said was Anthony Carmona, when he gave us the powers speech. The powers you think I have, I don't. The powers you don't think I have, I do. That was the best piece of bullshit I have ever experienced in my life. Because I carried it with me. I got excited. I felt wow. And that's why none of these political miscreants now could fool me with words anymore. Nobody. Madam President, you have an office in this land where you could tell Rowley, brother, you could convene a tribunal and fire me. It matters not to me. But this country is a shit show because of you and Kamala and your racist politics. And that has to stop. And Madam President, you could have sent the message from on high that I have to use social media at night to send. That as long as Trinidadians and Tobagonians see themselves as Syrians, whites, Chinese, Africans, Indians, red, Douglas, as long as we see ourselves as gender, as long as we see ourselves as class, we will go nowhere. And plenty people in Trinidad and Tobago just trying to grind out what they could grind out and ship it out. That's why you can't get US to go online and shop on Amazon, because people just going in the bank every single day and taking whatever US they could get and taking it out of the country, because everybody know at some point, if we do not fire this whole shit show that includes the PDP and the NTA, this whole 1% control bullshit that wants to fool you that they are choice, none of them is choice. Not one of them is different. Not one of those parties are different, because Farley was supposed to walk in that place and account to us through an audit where the $24 billion gone. But I were he and Duke fighting over now to be the purveyor of largesse. Because I told you all that. It's only a little while after you get into office where the same people who blow smoke up Rowley and Kamala ass come to blow smoke up yours. Because they just want to tell you as Pan, they say, watch me. We could do a deal, you know. We cost it, one for you and one for me. And you don't have to touch it. You just tell me where in the world you want it. China, Liechtenstein, London, France. Trinidad's $3 trillion spread out all over the world. Vassan Baran and Mariano Brown have to know that. And if they don't, they should shut to hell up. Stephen Cadiz has to know that. And if he doesn't, he needs to shut to hell up. You had your chance. Stop coming on social media, Stephen Cadiz, wringing your hand, trying to pretend that you give a shit about the rock, when for 5 years and 6 months, all you did was fatten yourself and your family. And I'm the only person who calls your name, Stephen Cadiz. And it is why when you saw me that morning by Adams, you nearly moonwalk, trying to make sure we didn't walk into each other. If you had said hello, I'd have said hello too. Because you're a political charlatan don't mean we have to be rude to each other in public. I'm a gentleman all the time. But it panic you, because you still move in circles where you know, your friends know you're a political charlatan. And that every post on Facebook is a shit talk post. And that's why you just get 4 likes and no shares, 1 share. Patrick Watson, when he feeling sorry for you. And the reason nobody takes you on, Stephen Cadiz, is because when you had the 5 years and the 6 months, that you could have dragged Keith Noel's coffin into the parliament and say, hey, 136 people dead this year, and my boy Keith was the 136. Let me not forget. You had many options to do that, Stephen Cadiz, you political hustler. So now, you're outside there, and I wouldn't be surprised if I see you on an NTA platform, because that's who the bridge for. All them political wannabes, they come and say, let me add with 2 cents, and all of you 3 cents together, so we could sit down after and tell the UNC, well, look, that's what we have, what have, right? Let me talk, so we can go after the PNM and share the spoils. And that's the same bullshit the Congress of the People did with Kamala Prasad Bisesa. And then after that, every single national caucus meeting that I went to for the Congress of the People in Caroni is to listen to them talk about when we get in our URP gangs, and when we get in CPEP, and when we get in board appointments. Gary stand up on the stage and say, I am seeing 2 boxers in the crowd. Kurt said that of the COP. I asked Kurt, I said, will you join NTA? He said, not at all. But Paul Daniel Nahus had told me the same thing a week before. So now, I don't know. I know Peter George have a little bit of money. And some of these fellas, they might take them in the back and feed them a big plate of food and say, look, man, your business can fix, you know. Maybe they were genuine, because when Paul Daniel Nahus told me he had nothing to do with the NTA, and in the following week, they put a picture with him when he still had hair. First, he wasn't present at the photo shoot. First, he was an afterthought. But Paul is a fella that I like, that I feel sorry for every time. Faris used him, now Gary gonna use him. But he got a little work under the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, and he deserved all the help he could get, because he's a good guy. And then Rocky Garcia who Jack wanna say come to Maxi from beating Rowley. But what Gary forget to mention is that the same Rocky Garcia for the next two election campaign for Rowley. When only leaving shit like that out means only not being honest with your audience. So which Rocky was present? PNM Rocky or COP Rocky? Gary. And you had to come straight to the public now, because from tonight, all free paper done. Everything you say and anybody in your party say, I will be taking it apart publicly. You're not getting a free run to assemble the bullshit show, to link up with the UNC, to go after the PNM, for all it to share the spoils. No, that's not happening. We didn't get into politics for that. And my members pissed. And yeah, you could bad talk my members and say what you want about them because they have no name. They're not a Lauren Pouchette and they're not a Errol Fabian outside there. But they're going to build their names. You know where my members going and build their names, Gary? On the ground, where yours can't go. And until I see an NTA member on the ground, dealing with the public, solving problems for the actual public, or they are to miss us with all your bullshit. We've seen this same horse and pony show before. This is nothing new. This is TOP from Tobago, NAR from Trinidad. This is Congress of the People all over again. There is nothing new under the sun taking place in the NTA. And I am terribly sorry that that is what it had to be. The same Joe Paris, Peter George crew. One more time. Let me try again now, fellas. Let me try. This Saturday, read the address properly, because Satish Ramsaran will tell me. Right. 25 Bamboo number 1 Valsane opposite the Bamboo number 1 recreation grounds. So for those of you who are not from the area, because all of y'all invited, and we have plenty refreshments and they have a whole bar next door. And if the number's big and you need more refreshments, we send in right over that overpass. We are one overpass away from Grand Bazaar. And we'll send over the overpass into Peter George Linda's and buy out all the puff and all the Peter George just sell pepperoni. Yeah, pepperoni. I want my doubles vendor to start selling kibi because Peter George Linda's selling pepperoni pie. Yeah, that's not appropriation. That's every creed and race finding an equal place in the cash register drawer. We will send across that flyover to buy out wherever we could. So let come. Don't worry about that. Refreshments like that, parking, security, come and make yourself at home. So if you're in the vicinity of Grand Bazaar, here man, if you're coming from town and you know the whole rigmarole you had to do because Grand Bazaar parking lot on the space where the overpass was supposed to build, so we had to do all the shit about that roundabout, all by the hospital and thing. Pop it all of that. But that same place, Grand Bazaar, across from there, there's a field, and you'll see a big billboard that says Phillip will fix it. I'll tell you what I want to fix. And come in and bring your friends, bring your family. That microphone, that open, the live video camera will be on you. Come and talk. Come and tell me. The people who call me from Powder Magazine today to tell me the rough leaking 6 years now. Come and talk. Put your pride aside. Put aside your hope that it will still pass after all this time and get a link up. Put that aside. You're not a dog. Stop living like a dog, hoping somebody will throw a bone for you. Live like a citizen in a country that used to be the third wealthiest nation in the Western world and could be again, should be again, under real leadership. But the only way that can happen is if you break the hand of the contract mafia and you institute strong financial sector regulations so that all them fees the bank's charging and $50 for a sheet of paper to print your statement, that gone. And that they're charging you for your statement, even though they're charging you a maintenance fee. So what's the maintenance fee if you do nothing on the account whole month? All that gone. and that the banks will have to pay you interest on your money, and the central bank will control the interest rates for credit, and which bank don't like it could haul. There are 5,000 banks in the world. They have banks with deeper pockets than Republic. They have banks that can buy Republic in a heartbeat. A black man named Lawrence Dupre buy Republic. And that is why that black man had to get broke, because he scaled too high. You know, like Bill Cosby and Michael Jackson, they scaled too high. I see Kanye West talking about going at Adidas and them. I want to say, Kanye, slow your roll, brother. It's only that black people get so high, and then all of a sudden, people just come out from the past. And remember, you pulled their toe when they were sleeping. But our story for another time. The story for this time is that Trinidad and Tobago is a broken shithole, yes. The people of Sealots, who live on the front line of Sealots, who have been living in their houses for more than 40 years, do not have certificates of comfort for their property because the PNM hasn't given them certificates of comfort for their property, despite the fact that they have adverse possession more than 30 years now. So I have to go and represent the people of Sealots and get proper deeds for the people of Sealots. So when the PNM and DOMA come for Sealots property, they will have to pay these people their money's worth. And as we talk in this, Keith Scotland is their member of parliament. And Keith Scotland is a lawyer of some repute. And if Keith Scotland really wanted to represent these people, Keith Scotland would go down there like I do and talk to them and ask them, how can I help you? And I'll tell you, Keith, I'll save you the trip so you don't waste your time. You don't have to take the time you're spending in the gym prettying up yourself these days. I'll tell you what you could do. The people who live in down there, every time the Boko Reef boat come in and put in water in their house, they need a boom. They need a breakwater. They need a seawall. They need something. They need a help. They're trying to do it by themselves. These little black children coming home every day with a bucket of boulders and adding to the pile. You could do it in a week, Keith Scotland, if you really cared. The people of Sealots need certificates of comfort and tenure, deeds, ownership to the land. And I want to tell you that some of them have been living there longer than Bayside Towers has existed in Cocorate. Some of them are living there longer than Grand Bazaar Car Park has been occupying the road reserved for the highway. So we can straighten it out for everybody. Let's deal with everybody in this country as if all of them matter. Because that's the only way we fix in this country. And I know everybody's hearing my voice. I know the criminals, the gangsters, the gangbangers, law enforcement. I know public servants, the teachers. When the people of Blue Range ran out of ways to stand up to rowdy partner Jeffrey Gillen, they had the WhatsApp burn up because people say, why don't we just call Phillip Alexander? Because Jeffrey Gillen is trying to buy a piece of land north of Blue Range that is an eco-reserve where the monkeys live and there are springs in the mountains. But this is a shit show, especially under the PNM. Under the PNM, you could slaughter those monkeys and pave the road with their bones. It don't matter. As long as you're getting a piece of the action, like with Renaissance Towers. Because Keith Rowley was not only the Minister of Planning at the time, he was the Member of Parliament and was supposed to represent the people of Shorelands who were in uproar about the same Jeffrey Gillen and John Rahal who was going to build Renaissance Towers. And Keith Rowley turned on them. But God don't sleep. That is why Renaissance Towers bust and wipe out all of them. And that is why some people in this country walking around duddering, wearing Pampers. There was big shots driving in chauffeur-driven Mercedes-Benz 5 years ago. God don't sleep. All of them who feed, he wearing pajamas. Do me say what you want about me, I could give 3 shits. Going trotters and bad talk, man. But if I push the door, get a little nervous for a second. Keep the right breath. Eh? And not everybody in this country need to continue with this way we live, this way we allow ourselves to be ripped apart as a country, racially, by class, in society, by people who just thieving taxpayer money. They have no oil money anymore. All the taxes that Colm Imbert is going to take from you, he's going to weave a mystical web at budget time. But 65% of the income in this country is from taxes. That means they are literally uncovering Peter to pay Paul, and Paul doing nothing for that money. It is just theft. It is criminal. Colin Imbert say we cannot continue to subsidize water. Why are you subsidizing water? It falls from the sky for free. You dim-witted idiot. He said we can't afford to subsidize gas. Why are you subsidizing gas when we have so much of it? We used to flare it for life and burn it off. It was a nuisance. You dim-witted idiot. And you can't afford to supply what else? What else are you talking about? Gas, fuel. You said when you was in opposition, you are stealing the money that the petroleum companies pays the subsidy. The government doesn't provide the subsidy. So you are stealing the money. Remember when you said that, you dim-witted idiot? Colin, remember? The people of Trinidad and Tobago have a real chance now to bury your political aspirations. The people of Trinidad and Tobago have a real chance now to elect a government to office that will go back 62 years and re-examine every transaction for every project built in this country and follow and find our money. We will bring in forensic accountants, specialists to just pore over every transaction, find every criminal permanent secretary, charge them, begin the prosecution, sentence them so that they know that they're going to jail, and then give them a pardon if they testify against the people they conspired with. You don't want to testify? Take your freaking jail. You'll find it another way. And I want you to know that the people of Trinidad and Tobago have an opportunity to elect that. A government that will make jobs, job one, that will bring industry to this country. What kind of industry, you all ask? Well, industry like agriculture and downstream agro-processing. When you say those things, Philip, that sounds airy, fairy, pie in the sky like UNC. No, we're talking specifics like pepper mash, and we tell you that the Moruga scorpion pepper could be used for pepper spray. So in the beginning, we could just grow as much Moruga scorpion pepper as we could and supply the pepper spray manufacturers with an intention for us to get involved in manufacturing our own pepper spray. So like the business model at Apple, we will own end to end. We will own the pepper, and we'll own the instrument that unleashes the pepper. And that sells in the billions every year, because every police and every soldier have one on their hip, and every 6 to 9 months it expires and have to change. So that kind of agro-processing. But pimento peppers, the world is turning on to spicy foods now, and pimento pepper, pepper mash could be sold to the world. Right now, somebody has contacted me and asked me, we want to buy pepper for Canada. You want to work with us on that? And that's something the Progressive Empowerment Party, we are launching a proof of concept farm in about 2 weeks. And that video of that farm will show you that you can do this. And that is just a proof of concept. But we are calling out all farmers that have access to any land, because pimento grows fast. And we want to make mild pepper sauce for the people of Canada. But Phillip, you're going to turn the whole economy around on pepper sauce? No, of course not. The thing that makes the most money in the world and continue to be a growth pool is shipping. Shipping is scheduled to be the largest industry in the world, eclipsing oil and gas in about 10 years. Shipping, and they are making bigger and bigger ships, and just now there'll be solar power, there'll be tide power, nuclear power. They don't need oil and gas. The shipping industry needs countries where they could stop and stock up, where the crews could shift. You all hear me telling you all this years now, right? That they could fix their propeller and change the piston. We need to do that kind of work. But the thing the white people build, Swan Hunter, that Dupre buy as the jewel in his crown that he called Caribbean Dockyard, this dim-witted idiot called Mimbert and his people just sink. We had a floating dockyard that these idiots just sank. into the ocean, never to be recovered. The white people have to be laughing at us. And they're asking, the jackass called Imbert is not even from your country. You had to go and get a foreign used jackass to come and make a mess of your country. You're so stupid. Trinidad and Tobago. You see, and I want to say that the purpose of saying these things is to wake you up to the reality of the power of your vote. And when I said voting have consequences, Anil Roberts get a mini erection because he wanted to talk that quick because he find it sounds sexy. But voting have consequences for Anil and the UNC. Voting has consequences. And if you think at any point in time that you've ever had it good as a country, ask yourself why, despite all of it, we always worse off than we were 5 years before. We've never improved, and we've had two booms. Trinidad has had cocoa boom, sugar boom, oil and gas boom. Trinidad, God has tripped over himself trying to bless us. Plus, they have countries in the world, if they had a pitch lake and a nylon pool, that's all they would have needed. Singapore have neither. They don't have no oil and gas. They don't have seaweed. Singapore is a first world developed nation with an economy stronger than the United States of America. And it is a country a third the size of Trinidad. So size don't matter in this column, feel safe. You can feel safe and assured, column. Size don't matter in this one. Dubai, Norway, Finland, Sweden. These are countries that took their misfortune and turned it into fortune. Venice. Venice is a collection of islands that they had to build bridges to. And those bridges became something the tourists wanted to see. And the rest is history. We have nothing. We have nothing. What they couldn't eat or sex, they destroyed. They burned down the sugar mill in Tobago with that massive water wheel that we could have preserved for the tourists. Nobody don't want to come here. They have nothing there for them to see here. The country, you could let people into the country if you arm them to the teeth in the airport. You tell them, try and survive and come back in 3 weeks. That could be a thing we could sell. If you make it, come back, kill whoever tried to kill you. That could be a thing. We're selling little girls' vaginas. That's what we sell for carnival. Little girls' vaginas. The fabric getting smaller and smaller. So I want to know, when the fabric reach inside the vagina, what are we doing? What's the next step, Dean Akin? What's the next step? Because there seemed to be no point of decency left. And it could only be that we're interested in selling these girls' vaginas to the tourists. That's what our carnival and our whole tourist package is. 4 days on a ship. Don't ask, don't tell. Drunken orgy. That's what we are. Trinidad and Tobago, Sodom and Gomorrah. But we have more church, temple, and mosque per square foot than anywhere. If we are not a hypocritical little nation. I say these things to you to wake you up to the reality that our country does not have to be a broken little shithole where nothing works. Even our culture have to be imported from China. Nothing works. Nothing. Nothing. Shipping turnaround, marine industry. Do you know what shipping is? I had to explain to somebody the other day. When a shipping ship is launched at sea, it never goes back home. You know? It never goes back home. It doesn't park up and wait a day. A shipping ship only stops for repairs and restocking. A shipping ship never stops until it's time to break it apart for scrap. It is literally run every hour of every day after it is launched at sea. And shipping in a country like Singapore. Singapore moves more container traffic in a day than we move in about 10 years. We couldn't do it if we tried. So Colm want to sell our port. And somebody wants to buy our port because a port where Trinidad and Tobago is. You see how Trinidad and Tobago is located just outside the hurricane belt? Puts us in a very fortunate position for shipping and anything to do with marine craft. We could build nesting sites for the cruise ship industry. They have at least 15 major cruise ship industry, cruise companies that would gladly build a marina in Trinidad. Not renting from Trinidad, buy the land and operate their own marina. But it will bring billions of dollars into this country. Shipping. If we built a proper dock for all of Point Lisas, all the way down to Point Bear, if we built a proper port, we could get into the shipping business. Because when you ship, let's say we ship in a container of pepper sauce from Trinidad to Australia. You don't put it on a ship that go in Australia. They have no ship that picking up something somewhere and going somewhere else. All the containers on a ship are sorted by destination, and it goes from hub to hub to hub. And there are ships between England and Australia, and there are ships between Miami and England, and there are ships between South America, Trinidad, and Miami. And you put your container on the South America, Miami, and it comes off in Miami, and it goes on another ship to England, and it comes off in England, and it goes on another ship till it reaches Australia. And that disembarkment, that transshipment earns billions of dollars. And we could be in that. When you look at the aftermath of a hurricane, you see hundreds of millions of dollars of wreckage in sailing boats and marine pleasure craft that Trinidad could stock. Do you know that the Germans built things 20, 30 stories that just underground, stuck in boats, stuck in cars, stuck in anyone? That for the people who's used their boats 3 months out of the year, the rest of the year, bury billions of dollars. We outside the hurricane belt. Our tourism is 12 months out of the year. If we did it, we knew if we wanted it, we could. We do a proper tourism product because we're in the tropics, surf, sand, sea, sun, sex. All we selling is sex. We have no family tourism in Trinidad. And the family tourism market is the biggest market in the world. But they know what they're doing it. Because they're black and you're black and you're not Indian. Or they're Indian and you're Indian and they're not black. And all that bullshit. While you're playing those bullshit games and your two races suffering and they're paying you and punching and telling you twerk and wine your bamsi and that makes you happy while everybody else going along with their lives and taking over every industry. And you're not stopping to think that your voice is important to the operation of the country so that the quality of the education your children receive or healthcare or the roads, you don't want to be home sleeping and your child outside driving and they hit a pothole and run off the road and crash into one of Rohan Sinanan's unlit roundabouts and dead. No, they ain't dead yet, but they're badly injured and they're waiting for an ambulance, but it's taking 5 hours and they have nobody there to give them CPR, and you find out the next day that while you're sleeping, your child bleed out on the side of the road because your country is shit. And you're telling yourself, as long as it's not the Indian, or you're the Indian, you're telling yourself, as long as it's the African, I better take that. You're a jackass. The country is a shit show because you've allowed the 1% contract mafia to give you blackface and Indian face puppets and fool you into thinking that you have a choice. When no matter which of those two bands of incompetence that get put in office, you never win. And this is our reality. This is our truth. And we are going to accelerate The Progressive Empowerment Party is taking to the ground now. 41 shadow MPs, constituency managers, 41. Starting this Saturday, the first 10. Come and meet them. St. Joseph. Yeah, St. Joseph. I'll make sure St. Joseph inside of there. We're going to build a mountain in St. Joseph. We're coming to give that swing seat in St. Joseph real representation. Superior. We're going Superior, Diego Martin Northeast. We're coming Diego Martin Northeast. Come and hear the rest. This Saturday, 5 p.m. Let me read the address again. And I can't read it on the screen, so I'll pull it up here. 25 Bamboo number 1 Valsane, opposite the Bamboo number 1 Recreation Grounds. That is in the vicinity of Grand Bazaar. That is just off the northbound highway when you reach the Beetham Highway. Yeah? And I want to say to you, Trinidad and Tobago, that the only reason I have to tell you this much truth is that somebody has to tell you the truth. And even if we don't win, even if we never win, and I tell you this, it would have been an effort worth it to all of us that we would have said that we tried. Not every politician in the country have to be a bandit. Not every politician in the country have to sell out to the 1%. Not every politician in the country have to be a political puppet fighting for somebody else's agenda. The Progressive Empowerment Party wants to build an umbrella that all of the people could be safe under. Red, white, black, and green, and every shade in between. And we're going to fight hard. We're going to work hard. And we're going to represent you on the ground, even if you take all the representation and so stupid that you vote for the people after that wouldn't represent you, no problem. You would have had a chance. We all would have had a chance. But I want to tell you, don't study nobody else and what they're voting for, you know. You study you. You study your vote. You be a person of integrity. You be a person that it matters to, that your children matter. You be a person that your children matter. That the Progressive Empowerment Party, I didn't apply for no other job, and if I don't get the job as a politician, you know. There's the only thing I do it. I set out to do this. I ain't get fired from nothing and say, well, I'm going to react and give you a political party. Ask Gary that. Ask Gary when he applied for the Commissioner of Police Work. He have Errol Fabian and Nikolai Edwards saying, I believe, I believe. Believe what? If Gary get the Commissioner of Police Work, let's say they call him and say, Gary, you're his commissioner. What happens to the NTA and all that you believe? Nikolai go run it. Nikolai can't win with his own party. He put it out releases as he is the deputy political leader of the NTA. He put it out releases as his own party and the NTA, but that's not confused. Yeah? And we must listen to people tell us the PNM is the enemy. The PNM alone is not the enemy. Everybody that represents anything that doesn't represent real representation and change in this country are the political enemy. We will give no quarter. Make sure we clear about that. And it goes forward from here. Because Trinidad and Tobago cannot continue to be victimized by 1% string pullers. Cannot continue to be victimized that way. And if not us, and you have to ask yourself this, if not us, who? If not you, who? Vote with integrity. Vote for an education plan that works. Yeah, they're trying to thief that. Vote for an agriculture plan that works. Yeah, they're trying to thief that too. Vote for a public health plan that works. Visit www.21policies.com and you will see where the PNM and the UNC and all these junior parties finding their policies from. And then go back before January 18, 2017 and look in Vision 2020, Vision 2030 and all the manifestos of the PNM and the UNC. And if you see anything like any of these policies, and then you'll realize the only way they know about it is that we've launched with a manifesto that does not require changing or updating. Believe you me, read it, and you will see in 2 pages a blueprint for a better Trinidad and Tobago, a roadmap to success. www.21policies.com. 2 pages, even Rowley could read it. It's short. We need your help. I hear politicians talking about we need your treasure. I like that. I like knowing that they're listening. I like knowing that they're getting informed. I like knowing that I'm infecting their minds. I like knowing that my words resonating so heavy with them that it's coming out their mouth. Yeah, we need your treasure. We need your assistance. We need your help. So Heidi Silver's number is 374-8747. 374-8747. We are spending $25,000 to launch this Saturday. And if you would like to help contribute to that, please call Sahai De Silva. We are launching 50 new billboards throughout the country. Not no digital screen that you can wipe away. We are coming to put things down permanent. Shadow MPs permanent. We're putting down roots, offices. For the next 2 years, we're opening offices one every couple of months. We plan to build something on the ground. This is not a hookup, link up bullshit show. Has always been a real political movement. That's why it could have built the Citizens Union of Trinidad and Tobago that we use to represent and take care of people right through this country. That's why it was able to do so much for so many. Phillip will fix it came out of people's words. That wasn't mine. And then it became not a boast but a promise. We've promised we will fix all of it. We will expose it. We will name it. We will tell you where we come from and where we go in. We're not coming to ask you if you think our clothes fitting right. This is not that kind of party. This is a party with leadership, with vision for the country, with measurable metrics that you could listen to a conversation, you could listen to a debate with any other politician and tell shit from sugar. But it is why they have to hide us from the media. And it is why they wouldn't poll us. And it is why they wouldn't debate us. Because they're afraid. If they did a poll of all 5 political leaders, Watson Duke, Gary Griffin, Kamala Keith, and Phillip Alexander, so ask a question. Who you trust? Just that question. Who of those 5 do you trust? I'd like to see the results of that. Stuart Henderson has been walking up and down this country trying to get people to agree to a debate, but they're afraid. Go forward from here. 7694590 is Felicia Holder's number. She's the chairman of the party and our financial controller, and we need your help. $100, $200, $5,000, $10,000. If you're in a position to write me a check to pay off the full cost of this launch, of this meeting, we'd appreciate it greatly. We need you to stand with us. We put in boots on the ground. We've been doing this since 2017. We've been working hard at this and building a movement that is capable of bringing real change to our country. And if that is something you want, bet on us. Bet on us. We've not been sitting on the sidelines waiting for our next maxi taxi to pass and pick us up. We've been working hard. We've never stopped. We've never stopped. And if you want a better country, don't make this about names and games. We've played those games before. Don't make this about, and she used to be, and he used to be, and. Don't make this a next link-up show. It didn't work in the NAR. It didn't work in the Congress of the People. It didn't work in the People's Partnership. You know the Congress of the People fell apart before Dukaran joined up with the UNC, that it was already broken. And people had already gone their way. That's why Dukaran was able to make unilateral decisions in a bar. Kamala. Another story. For another time. A better Trinidad and Tobago is the mission. A better Trinidad and Tobago is what we need. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, we've endured this for 60 years. It's time for a better Trinidad and Tobago. And if that is what you want, join us. Visit us this Saturday at 25 Bamboo number 1 Valsane, opposite the Bamboo number 1 Recreation Grounds, 5 p.m. We next door to, I think it's one-on-one bar. I think we did rum shop talk in that bar this Thursday, if I'm not mistaken. But if you want a better country, You have to fight for it. If you want a better country, you have to stand for it. If you want a better country, when you see people calling political meetings, come to our meeting and ask questions. And go to everybody else's meeting and ask questions. Stop taking chain up. We have no time for that. We just went through some very difficult times. And if there's one thing it proved to the country, that the government could do what the hell they wanted. We had to literally draw lines in the sand to protect ourselves. You want a better Trinidad and Tobago, you have to stand up. After you hear this video, you have to call people and mobilize them and organize 15, 20, 25 all you come down Saturday at 5 o'clock. Bring your crowd, bring your crew, come and talk on that mic. I will let our meeting run till midnight if there are people there to talk on that mic. Let the people hear you. This media not controlled by CNC3 and TV6. We will give you the opportunity to speak and let the whole world hear. It's time for a better Trinidad and Tobago, not the shit show we enduring. Let's be honest. Nothing about it works. When you get to the point where even the Archbishop and the President say, hey, Parliament, what the frig are they doing? Everybody ready to cuss. Fazir talking on the morning show like it's me talking there. Everybody with any kind of decency, any kind of sense, starting to sound like Phillip Alexander. You need to ask yourself, if that is the truth, if that's the measure, if all of these other political parties have to thief our words and thief our plans, if they have to come to us and try to pretend to be us, if they have to come and distract you, if the media have to hide us from you, something here has to be real. Something here have to be valuable. Rohan wife say he never moved so fast in his life as when he jump up and run to pick up them barrel because they frighten him. Because they frighten the whole government. We have 150 more barrel, Rohan. I tell you, will stay up in the night. We have 150 more barrel and we coming to arrest them and we suing you for them barrel you pick up. We're not letting it go. You oompa loompa. You waste of freaking time. Have people come mashing up on the road and you ain't give a ass. Living like a big shot in Valsane, packing grocery shell. Grocery make money. God bless all those brands. What are those brands? Libby's, and Dole, God bless them. They help groceries make money. And going forward, Trinidad and Tobago, it is time to fix it. The police and the army and the Coast Guard and the nurses and the teachers and the public servants and all of the people who contribute to the management and the operation of this country deserve better than what is taking place right now. We need government that understands that the value of our currency needs to make sense, that the banks shouldn't be charging a 13% tax in the foreign exchange spread, that putting a 13%, adding a 13% price onto everything that you buy. This have to stop. You can't continue to feel powerless. You're powerful. Your vote, your labor, and your consumption is what runs this country. Without your labor and your consumption, Mario, Sabga, Abul, and the family scrubbing pizza pan in the back of the friggin' restaurant. Eh? Your vote, your labor, your consumption. I tell people all the time, what the black community in Trinidad and Tobago makes and spends every year could buy Ansa Sabga Makal every year. Every year. Or they could only spend the $25 billion that could have bailed out Clico every year on dinner mint and cigarette. If the people of this country understood the power of their consumption, their labor, and their vote, their children would have a happily ever after in front of them. Right now, their future's bleak, but we could fix it. And if you want that, come and join us this Saturday at 5 o'clock in the Bamboo. We're opening hubs. This is a regional east-west corridor hub. It's very properly located between Beetham and St. Joseph. We're coming to take the country beachhead by beachhead. We want to give you political authority. We want to give you the strength to stand for yourself and not have people bully you because they have public office. It is time to fix all of it and get it to work in a country where nothing works. And if you want that, help us. Join us. Join the Progressive Empowerment Party. Visit www.peptt.com and join the party. And if you could make a contribution to us, call Sahai Silver at 374-8747 or Felicia Holder at 769-4590. Or you could WhatsApp me at 682-2110. Don't only call me when you're in trouble. Don't only call me when you need help. But if you need help, If you want to message me because you're having a problem, come Saturday, bring the problem and talk to me in person. Come Saturday and take the problem on the podium, on the platform, and talk it for the country to hear. Come this Saturday and add your voice and your foot, add yourself, add your body, add it to us. Add your dollar to our dollar, because that is what it's going to take to change Trinidad and Tobago. All of us, 1.4 million of us, putting aside the bullshit of the distraction puppet parties and standing together, one people under one flag. And if that's what you want, if you want a better country for your children, then you have to stand together and make it happen and stop letting them fool you that your race has anything to do with your politics. If anything, it's been used against you since September 1st, 1962. Anyway, this has gone on long. It's been a test. We use this time to test a lot of stuff. So I want to see how that worked out when we get the brief on that tomorrow, and we'll guide and advise where we go from here. But I want to thank all of you who are with me on the multiples of feeds. And I want to thank those of you who are going to use the opportunity right after the show and right after you see this video to call Sahai at 374-8747 or Felicia at 769-4590 or to WhatsApp me at 682-2110 and say, Philip, look, I want to give $1,500 to pay for our billboard. Because that's a billboard cost us $1,500. Contribute $1,500 to our billboard. We need 50, sorry for the hiccups. Yeah? So I think that's it. And until tomorrow, stay safe. Trinidad and Tobago.
Residents of St. Joseph, St. Augustine, Bamboo, Valsayn. This is the Progressive Empowerment Party inviting you to join us this Saturday at 5 p.m. for the opening of our East-West Corridor office and the presentation of the first 10 of our constituency managers, your shadow MPs. Come out in your numbers. Refreshments, safe parking, open microphone. Come add your voice, comfortable seating. Come and be a part of the change we always knew, we always needed.
All you need to come out on election day and vote for the Progressive Empowerment Party, because we will fix it. We will fix all of it.
One people under one God. It's time for change, it's time we vote to see. Come on, let me fix it. We go fix it. Build a better TNT. Phillip, we go fix it. We go fix it. Because we vote in PEP.
Phillip will fix it.
Vote PEP.
Darren's Air Conditioning Services. Professional services at affordable prices. They have air conditioning units starting at $2,700 with free delivery, installation, and Wi-Fi ready. We supply Pioneer, Lennox, Comfy, and Infinity, all at unbeatable prices. Servicing of a 12,000 BTU at only $150. Don't forget to check them out on Google, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So contact Darren's Air Conditioning Services at 749-8245. Darren's Air Conditioning Services. Professional services at affordable prices.
JC Men Gen Couture and Studio 52, your one-stop shop that meets all your needs. From men's clothing to women's fashion, it's all here under one roof. This is shopping galore and fashion with a difference at Studio 52. Come visit us. We're located at Penco Street, Chaguanas, or call us today at 1-868-775-1747.
Arichel Homes, a loving, safe, caring senior care living facility where your family becomes our family. Our experienced caregivers are trained and overseen by our registered nurse who has years of experience in psychiatric nursing and working with geriatrics. We provide a safe living environment for your loved ones. Come and visit us. We are located at 4 Roads in Diego Martin. Arichel Homes, we are family. View us on Facebook, Arichel Homes. Contact us at 684-2873 or 468-3186.
Tactical Enterprises Limited, located at Ramguli Trace, North Montplaisir Road, Cunupia. They wholesale and retail cellular phone and cellular accessories, smart home automation products, portable Bluetooth speakers, office chairs, and ideal gifts for the young generation. Open Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Tactical Enterprises or call 716-2900, 469-9900 or 325-0000. Tactical Enterprises Limited, Ramguli Trace, North Montplaisir Road, Cunupia, where style meets technology.
Trinity Lighting welcomes you to our store at 123 Western Main Road, St. James. Trinity Lighting carries a wide range of bulbs such as incandescent, halogen, CFL, and LEDs for any application. We are specialized in light bulbs and parts for medical, marine, residential, and commercial use. Contact us today at 868-628-8373. Our professional team is ready to assist you with all your lighting needs.
So, how are you enjoying your dinner, Booby Looby?
Well, it's really well seasoned and partially spicy.
Well, I make it my priority to exfoliate my meat before divulging in the steamy essence of love. Yeah, you know what I mean? Rock back.
Did he just put Alcalado in here? Are we still speaking about the food?
Of course, Booby Looby. Look, let me emancipate the AC to cool things down.
Oh my, that's cool.
Yeah, that's Neil cool, baby. Now who could be possibly summoning my time at this present moment? Don't move a muscle. I'll be back.
Oh, Neva! Everything good off. Nani I saw. Wow! Neva! I see you walking my way.
Neil cool.
Hold on, I can't try. Who? Next back.
Alright, Booby Looby. Apologies. Now we'll. What are you doing inside here?
You want in wise way, don't already. What? Who like you want to see again, right?
Neil cool, boy. Neil cool. Come on, man.
Neil cool.
Come on. You're killing my date, man.
Look at this, I just shot from brother.
Just leave me.
Go on.
But what trouble is this, boy? Now where will we, Booby Loobies? What do you think about having a brief entanglement?
You have any more ice?
I tell you, Neil cool, boy. Neil cool. Just come out of the place for me.
Oh, man, yeah, I'm going to face and move so much.
You're just inappropriate, man. Oh, shucks. I'm cranking my style, man. Rock back.
If you're looking for the coolest of the cool, just call Neil Cool. Guaranteed to have the best prices and after service care. And if you're looking to save big on your electric bill, ask about the AKL units, 7 years on compressor and 2 years on parts. So call them today, message on Facebook or Instagram and get cool. Stay cool with Neil Cool.
Unique Woodworking Trinidad Limited and Unique Lumber and Construction Guyana Incorporated are premium manufacturers and exporters of high-quality bifolding sliding and pocket door systems, fire-rated doors, windows, operable louver shutters, hardwood floors, staircases, architectural moldings, and toughened laminated glass. Unique Group of Companies also supply kiln-dried greenheart, mahogany, cedar, antique for both residential and commercial projects, locally and regionally. Our logs are cut and shipped by Unique Lumber Guyana and dried in our computerized kiln at our factory's facilities in Trinidad. Visit our showrooms to see the quality, which makes us unique.
One people under one flag. It's time for change, it's time we voted PEP. Come on, let me fix it, we go fix it. Build a better TNT. Phillip, we go fix it, because we voted PEP.
Phillip will fix it.
Vote PEP.